Chosen one. Someone is planning to hurt you. But the warning is not being given so you can panic. It is being given so you can see clearly before the wrong person gets closer, before the wrong conversation opens, and before your next move is placed in unsafe hands. This is not random. Something higher has interrupted your path because a pattern around you is ready to be revealed. Listen carefully. The harm may not come as an obvious attack. It may come through fake concern, repeated questions, subtle doubt, emotional provocation, or someone who keeps trying to make you explain what God has only asked you to protect. Their goal may not be to destroy everything. Their goal may be to disturb your peace long enough for you to make one decision outside of wisdom. But you are not helpless. You are being warned because you are covered. You are being shown because your next season matters. So do not accuse everyone. Do not harden your heart. But do not ignore the fruit. In this message, you will learn what to notice, what to stop revealing, and how to move so the plan against you loses access before it can touch your destiny. And before we go deeper, hear this clearly. This is not a message telling you to become suspicious of every person in your life. That is not wisdom. That is fear wearing a spiritual mask. God does not lead his chosen ones into paranoia. He leads them into discernment. There is a difference between fear and discernment. Fear makes you accuse people before you understand the pattern. Discernment teaches you to watch the fruit. Fear makes you run from everybody. Discernment shows you who no longer gets the same access. Fear makes you loud. Discernment makes you steady. So if this confirms what you have already been sensing, do not rush. Do not immediately send the message. Do not immediately confront the person. Do not immediately try to prove what you feel. Stay with this until the end, because before this is finished, you will understand the 3 ways harm tries to approach a chosen one. Why certain people become disturbed when your life begins to shift. Why confronting too early can make the situation worse. And what God may be teaching you about silence, access, and protection. Because the real danger may not only be what they plan to do, the real danger may be what they hope you will do in response. There are attacks that come loudly. Everybody can see them. Everybody can hear them. They arrive with open hostility, obvious disrespect, direct betrayal, and clear opposition. Those attacks hurt, but at least they are visible. But there is another kind of harm that moves quietly. It does not announce itself. It does not always look like hatred. Sometimes it looks like concern. Sometimes it sounds like advice. Sometimes it comes from a person who keeps asking questions about your life, but never seems happy when the answers are good. Sometimes it comes from someone who says they are only trying to help, but every conversation with them leaves you smaller, more confused, more doubtful, and less connected to the person God is forming you to become. That is why this warning matters. Not every person who smiles is safe. Not every person who listens is loyal. Not every person who asks questions deserves answers. And not every person who says they are worried about you is actually protecting you. Some people are studying you, not because they love you, but because they want to know where to place the pressure. They want to know what still hurts. They want to know what dream still matters to you. They want to know what you are building before it becomes visible enough for others to honor. They want information, not intimacy. They want access, not connection. And this is one of the first ways harm approaches a chosen one. It approaches through access. Access to your plans, access to your emotions, access to your private thoughts, access to the things you are still praying over, access to the unfinished parts of your life that are still delicate because God is still shaping them. Chosen one, you must understand this. Not everything that God is building in you is ready to be discussed with people who have not proven they can carry sacred information with clean hands. There are dreams that must stay quiet while they are still forming. There are doors that must remain hidden until they are ready to open. There are instructions God gives you that will lose power if you keep placing them in the ears of people who only know how to question what they were never assigned to understand. This is not about being secretive because you are afraid. This is about being private because you are maturing. Some of you have been wondering why you suddenly feel led to say less. You used to explain everything. You used to tell people what you were doing, where you were going, what you were planning, what you were hoping for, what you were afraid of, and what you were trying to overcome. But lately, something inside you has changed. You can still love people, but you do not feel the same need to open every room in your heart. That is not coldness. That is wisdom waking up. God may be teaching you that access is not automatic. Access is earned by fruit, by consistency, by humility, by respect, and by the ability to celebrate what God is doing in you without secretly competing with it. The second way harm approaches a chosen one is through provocation. This is when someone cannot stop your calling, so they try to disturb your character. They cannot remove what God placed on you, so they try to pull you into a version of yourself that you have already outgrown. They cannot cancel the favor over your life, so they try to make you act in a way that contradicts the maturity God has been forming in you. Pay attention to this. Some people do not need to defeat you. They only need to provoke you. They only need you to say one thing from anger. They only need you to send one message from pain. They only need you to react one time in a way they can screenshot, repeat, exaggerate, twist, or use as proof that they were right about you all along. That is why your reaction is valuable. Your peace is not just a feeling. Your peace is protection. Your restraint is not weakness. Your restraint is evidence that you are no longer controlled by the same pressure that used to move you. Your silence is not surrender. Sometimes your silence is strategy. The enemy of your destiny does not always try to destroy you by force. Sometimes the strategy is to pull you into emotional noise until you destroy your own clarity. So when someone keeps pushing the same place, asking the same triggering question, bringing up the same wound, repeating the same accusation, or creating the same confusion, pause before you respond. Ask yourself what spirit this conversation is trying to pull out of you. Is it pulling out wisdom or panic? Is it pulling out truth or defensiveness? Is it pulling out clarity or confusion? Is it pulling out the person God is forming or the person pain taught you to become? Because if the conversation keeps inviting you to become an older, smaller, more reactive version of yourself, then the problem may not be the topic. The problem may be the trap. The third way harm approaches a chosen one is through doubt. This is one of the most dangerous forms because it often sounds reasonable. It does not always come with insults. It comes with small sentences, tiny seeds, quiet suggestions, a look, a pause, a question that seems harmless but lands inside you like a weight. Are you sure you are ready? Do you really think that will work? Maybe you are doing too much. Maybe you should wait. Maybe people like you do not get that kind of life. Maybe you are imagining things. Maybe you should go back to what is familiar. And if you are not careful, those small seeds become an inner voice. You start repeating what they planted. You start doubting what you once knew. You start shrinking a dream that God never asked you to shrink. You start delaying an obedience that was meant to move now. You start calling fear wisdom because someone made uncertainty sound mature. Chosen one, listen to me. Not every caution is wisdom. Not every warning is protection. Not every person telling you to slow down is hearing from God. Some people are not trying to protect you from failure. They are trying to protect themselves from watching you rise. Because your rise confronts something in them. Your healing confronts what they refuse to heal. Your boundaries confront how much they benefited from your lack of them. Your silence confronts their need to control the story. Your confidence confronts the version of you they were more comfortable managing. And your next season confronts every person who thought they would always have the same level of access to you. This is where the root begins. The root is not just that someone dislikes you. The root is that your becoming disturbs them. They were comfortable when you were available for every emotional emergency. They were comfortable when you explained yourself until you were exhausted. They were comfortable when you doubted your own discernment and kept giving chances to patterns that kept wounding you. They were comfortable when your dreams were only dreams, when your plans were only words, when your confidence was still breakable, when your future felt far away. But something has shifted. Even if you cannot fully name it yet, they can sense it. They can sense that you are no longer as easy to reach in the same way. They can sense that your yes has become more sacred. They can sense that your silence has more strength behind it. They can sense that your old guilt no longer controls you as quickly. They can sense that the version of you they understood is no longer the version leading your life. And that is why the resistance has increased. Not everyone is angry at your past. Some people are disturbed by your future. This is not new. This pattern has always existed around people who carry assignment. Joseph did not have to become king before jealousy appeared. The dream alone was enough to disturb his brothers. They saw something in him before it was visible to the world. They could not understand why favor rested on someone they still wanted to see as small. So the attack came before the palace. The pit came before the promotion. The betrayal came before the fulfillment. But here is what you must notice. Joseph's destiny was not destroyed by the people who betrayed him. Their actions became part of the road God used to position him. What they meant to bury became the path that moved him forward. That does not excuse betrayal. It does not make pain beautiful while it is happening. It does not mean you pretend harm does not hurt. But it does mean that when God's hand is on your life, even the wrong actions of wrong people cannot have the final word. They may plan, they may speak, they may manipulate, they may provoke, they may try to turn people against you, but they cannot become God over your destiny. And this is why you must not let their behavior pull you out of alignment. The moment you let someone else's darkness decide your response, you give them more influence than they deserve. The moment you let their immaturity make you immature, you step down from the place God has been training you to stand. The moment you let their plan create your panic, you begin moving from fear instead of wisdom. And that may be exactly what the trap was designed to do. At this point, you may think the answer is to confront them immediately. You may feel the urge to say, "I know what you are doing." You may want to expose them. You may want to defend yourself. You may want to gather every detail, send every message, correct every lie, and make sure everybody knows your side. But slow down. Confronting too early can make the situation worse. If you confront before the pattern is clear, they may hide what they were revealing. If you react before wisdom has settled, they may use your emotion as evidence against you. If you over-explain, they may collect more information. If you accuse too soon, they may turn around and act wounded by the truth you were still trying to understand. This is why God sometimes gives a warning before he gives instruction. The warning wakes you up. The instruction shows you how to move. And right now, the first instruction may be this: do not react before you discern. Do not speak before you have peace. Do not reveal what God is still protecting. Do not give the wrong person the satisfaction of seeing you lose control. Do not hand your future to someone who has only shown they know how to mishandle your vulnerability. Chosen one, there is a rule you must learn in this season. You do not need to respond to every signal immediately. You do not need to prove every feeling the moment it rises. You do not need to announce that you have noticed a pattern. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is quietly step back and let repeated fruit speak. One strange comment may be a mistake. One uncomfortable moment may be a misunderstanding. One hard conversation may not mean someone is against you, but repeated confusion is fruit. Repeated disrespect is fruit. Repeated jealousy disguised as concern is fruit. Repeated pressure to explain yourself is fruit. Repeated punishment after you set a boundary is fruit. And fruit tells the truth, even when words try to hide it. That is why you must watch what keeps repeating. Do not watch only what they say when they want access. Watch what they do when you tell them no. Watch what happens when you succeed. Watch what changes when you become unavailable. Watch how they respond when you stop feeding the old pattern. Watch whether they honor your peace or try to make you feel guilty for protecting it. Because some people only reveal themselves when they lose control over you. And when they reveal themselves, do not rush to put the mask back on them. Let the truth remain visible long enough for you to learn from it. This is where many chosen ones struggle. You see the truth, but then your compassion tries to cover it. You notice the pattern, but then your guilt tries to explain it away. You feel the warning, but then your old loyalty tells you to ignore it because you do not want to think badly of someone you once trusted. But discernment is not hatred. Discernment is not bitterness. Discernment is not revenge. Discernment is love with eyes open. You can forgive someone and still remove access. You can wish someone well and still stop explaining your life to them. You can pray for someone and still not place your future in their hands. You can be kind and still be unavailable to manipulation. That is maturity. That is protection. That is what God may be forming in you now. And there is another layer to this that you need to understand before we move into the next part. When someone provokes you, pressures you, questions you, or threatens your peace, your inner state matters. If your mind is already trapped in stress, you may react from survival instead of wisdom. You may over-explain, you may panic, you may try to fix what God is asking you to release. You may run back to people who are unsafe, simply because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. That is why your peace must be guarded before your next decision is made. There is a kind of pressure that pulls people into a lower state. A state of fear, a state of scarcity, a state where every conversation feels urgent, every delay feels dangerous, and every person's opinion feels like a verdict. In that state, discernment becomes harder because the noise inside you gets louder than the guidance above you. Later, I will show you why this matters and why learning to return to a calmer inner frequency may be one of the most important parts of protecting your next season. Because you cannot always control who speaks against you, who misunderstands you, or who tries to provoke you. But you can learn not to hand them the steering wheel of your inner world. For now, remember this. The plan against you does not only need opportunity, it needs access. It needs access to your reaction, access to your information, access to your insecurity, access to your need to be understood by people who may be committed to misunderstanding you. So do not give it what it needs. Do not give it the angry version of you. Do not give it the frightened version of you. Do not give it the over-explaining version of you. Do not give it the version of you that keeps reopening doors God is trying to close. The warning has already done its first work. It has made you aware. Now the next part will show you how to move. You are going to learn how to audit access without becoming cruel. You are going to learn how to test the fruit without falling into paranoia. You are going to learn how to use silence without feeling guilty. And you are going to understand why the person planning harm loses power the moment they can no longer control your response. Chosen one, the plan may be real, but so is your covering. The pressure may be real, but so is your wisdom. The resistance may be real, but so is the God who saw it before it reached you. So stay steady, say less, watch the fruit, guard what is sacred, and remember this one sentence as you move forward. The plan against you loses power the moment it loses access. And once access is removed, the entire strategy begins to collapse. Because the plan against you cannot fully work without your participation. It needs something from you. It needs your reaction. It needs your information. It needs your insecurity. It needs your old habit of explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. So before you do anything outwardly, you must make one decision inwardly. You must decide that your peace is no longer available for manipulation. You must decide that your private instructions are no longer available for casual conversation. You must decide that your future is no longer open to people who only know how to mishandle what is sacred. Chosen one. This is not about becoming cruel. This is not about becoming cold. This is not about walking around as if everyone is against you. That would only make fear the leader of your life, and fear was never meant to lead a chosen one. This is about becoming clear about who has earned access, clear about who only wants information, clear about who brings peace and who brings confusion, clear about who corrects you in love and who reduces you through fear, clear about who belongs in your next season and who only had access to the version of you that did not know how to protect yourself. The first thing you must do is examine access. Not loudly, not dramatically, not with a public announcement, not with a speech, not with a message explaining to everyone why you are changing. Quietly, wisely, with God watching your heart. Ask yourself, who has access to your emotions? Who can disturb your whole day with one sentence? Who can pull you out of peace with one look, one accusation, one disappointed tone, one delayed response, one passive comment? Who has been given so much emotional access that their mood can become your weather? That is not small. Emotional access is sacred, because whoever can control your emotional state can influence your decisions. And if someone can influence your decisions while you are under pressure, they can push you into choices you would never make in peace. Then ask yourself, who has access to your plans? Who knows what you are building before it is ready? Who knows what door you are praying for before it opens? Who knows what opportunity you are considering before God has confirmed it? Who knows where your hope is attached? Who knows what would hurt you if it failed? Not everyone needs that information. Some things must be carried in silence until they are strong enough to stand in the open. You are not hiding because you are ashamed. You are guarding because you are responsible. There are seeds that die when they are handled too much. There are instructions that lose clarity when too many voices are invited into them. There are beginnings that must be protected from the opinions of people who were never assigned to help you build. Then ask who has access to your vulnerability. Who knows your wounds? Who knows what you are still healing from? Who knows the places where you question yourself? Who knows the names, the memories, the losses, the fears, the private things you do not show everyone? And more importantly, what have they done with that access? Have they honored it? Have they protected it? Have they handled it with tenderness? Or have they used it against you when they were angry? Have they brought it up in arguments? Have they turned your honesty into a weapon? Have they made you regret being open? Chosen one, when someone mishandles your vulnerability, the answer is not always to hate them, but the answer may be to stop giving them sacred material. You can forgive without reopening the vault. You can love without handing over the key. You can be kind without making your inner world available to unsafe hands. This is the access audit. And it is not something you do to punish people. It is something you do to protect what God is building. Now here is the part many people miss. When God shows you that someone should have less access, the old version of you may feel guilty. You may feel like you are being mean. You may feel like you are abandoning them. You may feel like you owe them an explanation. You may feel like you are changing too much. But listen carefully. You are allowed to become quieter. You are allowed to stop explaining. You are allowed to protect unfinished plans. You are allowed to answer slower. You are allowed to stop giving emotional access to people who only use it to pull you into confusion. You are allowed to love someone from a distance when closeness keeps damaging your peace. You are allowed to outgrow the access you once gave too freely. And you do not owe an apology for becoming a better steward of your life. But access alone is not enough. Because if you remove access from everyone just because you feel uncomfortable, fear has still won. So the next thing you must do is test the fruit. This is where you must become mature. Not everyone who disagrees with you is against you. Not everyone who questions you is jealous. Not everyone who challenges you is being used to hurt you. Sometimes correction is love. Sometimes a hard conversation is protection. Sometimes someone telling you to slow down is not an enemy trying to stop your destiny, but wisdom trying to keep you from moving before the foundation is ready. So do not judge only by discomfort. Judge by fruit. After you speak with them, what remains inside the atmosphere of your life? Do you leave with clarity, or do you leave confused? Do you feel strengthened, or do you feel smaller? Do you feel corrected with love, or reduced through fear? Do they respect your growth, or do they keep dragging you back to who you used to be? Do they honor your boundaries, or do they punish you for having them? Do they celebrate when God opens doors for you, or do they suddenly become quiet, distant, sarcastic, or strangely unimpressed? Fruit tells the truth when words are polished. A person can say they love you and still leave the fruit of confusion. A person can say they support you and still leave the fruit of doubt. A person can say they are only concerned and still leave the fruit of control. Look at the fruit. Correction brings clarity. Manipulation brings confusion. Love brings truth. Control brings fear. Wisdom brings peace. Jealousy brings pressure. Healthy people can disagree with you without trying to shrink you. Safe people can correct you without humiliating you. Assigned people can challenge you without making you feel like your calling is foolish. But unsafe people often make their access feel like a debt. They act as if your growth is a betrayal. They act as if your boundaries are an attack. They act as if your silence is disrespect. They act as if your healing is arrogance, because the old version of you was easier for them to reach. And that is where you must stop negotiating with guilt. You cannot carry your calling and everyone's comfort at the same time. You cannot protect your destiny and keep handing keys to people who resent the door God is opening. You cannot move into a higher season while letting every old voice vote on your obedience. There is a moment when David had to understand this. Saul was not just a difficult person. Saul became a real threat. And yet David did not let the threat turn him into the thing attacking him. He moved with wisdom. He held his ground. He refused to let another man's insecurity corrupt his own spirit. That is the mark of maturity. You do not become reckless because someone else is unsafe. You do not become cruel because someone else is bitter. You do not become loud because someone else is lying. You do not become unstable because someone else is trying to provoke instability. You remain governed by God. That is why the next rule matters so deeply. Do not reveal that you have noticed too soon. Let the pattern speak. Let the fruit keep showing itself. Let time expose what pressure tries to hide. This is where silence becomes sacred strategy. Silence does not mean you have no words. It means your words are no longer available to be used against you. Silence does not mean you are weak. It means you are no longer willing to bleed in front of people who only came to study your wounds. Silence does not mean you are confused. It means you are waiting until wisdom, not emotion, gives the instruction. Some of you have been trained to respond immediately. Someone accuses you and you explain. Someone misunderstands you and you chase. Someone pulls away and you panic. Someone questions your motives and you open your whole heart, trying to prove that it is clean. But in this season, God may be breaking that pattern. You do not have to prove your heart to people who benefit from doubting it. You do not have to keep performing innocence for people committed to suspicion. You do not have to give a full explanation to someone who only wants more material to twist. You do not have to enter every conversation just because someone invited you into conflict. Sometimes the most powerful answer is a calm distance. Sometimes the clearest response is no longer feeding the discussion. Sometimes the safest movement is not a dramatic exit, but a quiet withdrawal of access. In your inner world, picture the gate of your life. Behind that gate are your peace, your plans, your calling, your relationships, your confidence, your next season, your private prayers, and the instructions God has trusted you to carry. Now, imagine yourself looking at that gate with wisdom, not fear, not bitterness, not suspicion. Wisdom. You do not need to open that gate because someone knocks loudly. You do not need to open that gate because someone says they deserve entry. You do not need to open that gate because guilt tells you that boundaries are unkind. In your imagination, place one sentence over that gate. Only what carries peace, truth, honor, and God-given alignment may enter here. Let that sentence become a decision. Let it stand over your emotions. Let it stand over your conversations. Let it stand over your unfinished plans. Let it stand over every place where you once confused access with love. And when it is safe for you, if this message confirms what you have been sensing, you can write this simple sentence in the comments. Access revoked. Not as revenge, not as drama, not as hatred, but as a declaration that manipulation no longer has the same entry point into your life. Now there is another layer, and this may be the part that changes how you understand the entire situation. When someone is trying to provoke you, your spiritual discernment is not the only thing under pressure. Your inner state is under pressure too. Fear has a frequency. Stress has a rhythm. Survival has a voice. And when you are pushed into that state, everything feels urgent. Every message feels like a threat. Every silence feels like rejection. Every delay feels like danger. Every person's opinion feels like a verdict. In that state, you may know the right thing, but still feel pulled toward the wrong reaction. That is why peace is not passive. Peace is a position of power. When your mind is trapped in survival, it becomes harder to hear wisdom clearly. You may over-explain. You may defend yourself too quickly. You may go back to unsafe people because uncertainty feels unbearable. You may confuse panic with urgency and call it discernment. This is why learning to return to a calmer inner state is part of protecting your next season. And for those who feel led, this is where a simple tool may support what we are talking about. There is a digital audio track called the Wealth Signal. It is designed to be listened to for 5 minutes a day with headphones, and its purpose is to support a shift from the stressed beta state, where the mind can feel trapped in pressure and scarcity, into a calmer alpha state, where clarity, flow, and inner alignment become easier to access. This is not magic. This is not a replacement for prayer, wisdom, boundaries, or real decisions. And it is not something you need to force. But if your spirit recognizes that you have been living too long in stress, urgency, and survival, you can look for the information connected to this message and explore it only if you feel genuinely led. The point is not the tool by itself. The point is recalibration. Because a chosen one who cannot be controlled internally becomes much harder to manipulate externally. When your peace is steady, provocation loses power. When your clarity returns, confusion loses power. When your inner world is no longer governed by fear, the plan against you begins to lose the very thing it needed most: your reaction. This is why the enemy of your destiny wants you tired, anxious, rushed, offended, and desperate to be understood. Because if you are ruled by urgency, you are easier to pull. If you are ruled by guilt, you are easier to access. If you are ruled by fear, you are easier to redirect. But if you are ruled by wisdom, they cannot move you the same way. If you are ruled by peace, they cannot bait you the same way. If you are ruled by God, they cannot define you the same way. Chosen one, this is the identity you must return to now. You are the seer. You notice patterns others ignore. You sense when words and energy do not match. You feel when access is being requested for the wrong reason. You are not strange for noticing. You are being trained to see. You are the truth carrier. You cannot live forever inside confusion. At some point, the false thing becomes too heavy to keep pretending it is normal. At some point, your spirit refuses to keep calling manipulation love. You are the spiritual warrior, not because you fight every person, not because you argue every point, not because you prove your strength through noise. You are a warrior because you can remain steady when pressure tries to move you. You are a warrior because you can refuse the bait. You are a warrior because you can be misunderstood and still not betray your own growth. You are the cycle breaker. The old pattern may have been over-explaining. The old pattern may have been people-pleasing. The old pattern may have been giving endless chances to repeated disrespect. The old pattern may have been confusing forgiveness with full access. But that pattern does not get to lead you anymore. You are the bridge. You can love deeply and still walk wisely. You can carry compassion and still keep boundaries. You can see someone's pain and still refuse to let their pain become permission to damage you. This is who you are becoming. Not suspicious, discerning, not bitter, clear, not afraid, covered, not reactive, governed, not available to every voice, available to God. And now, let this become settled inside you. Imagine again the gate of your life. This time, see the gate closing gently, not violently. You are not slamming it in hatred. You are closing it in wisdom. Outside that gate are confusion, manipulation, false concern, emotional provocation, secret jealousy, and every voice that tries to pull you into an older version of yourself. Inside the gate is peace. Inside the gate is instruction. Inside the gate is the future God is still forming. Inside the gate is the version of you that no longer needs to be understood by unsafe people in order to obey. Now, see yourself handing the key back to God. Not to fear, not to guilt, not to the person who keeps demanding access, not to the version of you that used to panic when someone misunderstood you. Back to God. Let this sentence rise inside your spirit. My access belongs to God before it belongs to anyone else. Let that sentence stand over your next conversation. Let it stand over the message you are thinking about sending. Let it stand over the apology you are tempted to give just to keep peace with someone who keeps disturbing yours. Let it stand over the door you keep reopening. Let it stand over the private thing you almost shared with someone who has not earned the right to carry it. My access belongs to God before it belongs to anyone else. And from that place, receive this. May every hidden plan against your peace lose its entrance. May every false voice lose its influence. May every manipulative conversation lose its power to pull you out of alignment. May every unsafe connection be revealed with clarity and handled with wisdom. May you be protected from the trap of over-explaining. May you be protected from the trap of reacting too soon. May you be protected from the trap of confusing guilt with love. May you be protected from the trap of calling access forgiveness when God is asking for distance. May your discernment become calm. May your boundaries become clean. May your silence become strong. May your heart remain soft without becoming unguarded. May your love remain real without becoming available to misuse. May your next season be covered from hands that cannot honor it. And may you never again confuse someone's demand for access with God's instruction to open the door. Chosen one, you do not need to fear the person planning harm. You need to stop feeding the pathway that gives harm permission to reach you. You do not need to hate them. You need to discern them. You do not need to expose everything. You need to obey what God reveals. You do not need to become loud. You need to become anchored. Because the one who is truly covered does not have to panic when something hidden is exposed. The one who is truly guided does not have to chase every explanation. The one who is truly chosen does not have to keep proving their heart to people who only know how to question it. Let them plan. God already saw. Let them whisper. God already heard. Let them provoke. You will not be moved. Let them misunderstand. You will not abandon yourself. Let them lose access. That may be the protection you were praying for. The plan against you loses power the moment it loses access. And from this moment forward, you are not moving from fear. You are moving from wisdom. You are not reacting from pressure. You are responding from peace. You are not handing sacred things to unsafe hands. You are guarding what God still intends to grow. Stay calm. Say less. Watch the fruit. Protect the gate. And move forward, knowing this. What was meant to hurt you will not have the final word over you. God saw it before it touched you. God warned you before it trapped you. And God will guide you through it without letting it destroy the destiny He placed inside you.